Dharun Ravi is being sentenced today. He's the former Rutgers student convicted of multiple charges, including a hate crime for spying on his gay roommate.
Tyler Clementi killed himself after the incident. Now, as Michelle Miller reports, some prominent names are asking the judge not to send Ravi to prison.
We find the defendant guilty or not guilty.
Guilty.
2 months ago, Dharun Ravi was found guilty of 15 criminal counts, including bias intimidation, which is classified as a hate crime in the state of New Jersey.
Mr. Nettle, any reaction on behalf of your client?
Ravi was convicted of using a webcam to spy on his roommate, 18-year-old Tyler Clementi, while he was having a sexual encounter with another man. Days later, Clementi jumped off the George Washington Bridge, an act of desperation that captured headlines around the world, raising awareness of the issue of bullying and the struggles faced by gay teenagers.
There are messages everywhere that validate this kind of bullying and taunting, and we have to make it stop.
Now, Ravi faces up to 10 years in prison, or depending on the judge's decision, he could be deported to his native India, a punishment that some leading gay activists say is too harsh. In an op-ed published in the Star-Ledger, former New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevey, who resigned his post after coming out in 2004, argued that the issues at hand were larger than Dharun Ravi. Homophobia was replete in Clementi's government, church, and culture, not just Ravi's stupidity. But not everyone agrees.
Dharun Ravi is not a victim. He is not a scapegoat.
Garden State Equality's Stephen Goldstein says Ravi should serve at least some jail time, if only to set an example that bias crimes will no longer be tolerated.
My hope is that America takes this case of Dharun Ravi as an example for what could happen if any student bullies another.
For CBS This Morning, I'm Michelle Miller.
48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty has followed this case from the very beginning and joins us now at the table. Hello.
I'm very anxious to see what happens today. I really am.
Well,
because I sat through most of the trial.
Me too.
It's tough. I think the judge is really in a tough position because Dharun Ravi was convicted of all 15 counts.
But he's facing up to 10 years. How likely is that he will get that?
Every legal expert I've talked to, now, of course, none of us absolutely know for sure, but every legal expert I spoke to did not think he would get the full 10 years. Some people think a year, some people, everyone agrees probably less than 5. And then there's this other thing. If the judge is concerned, I mean, the judge in open court said that he was concerned this law was so muddled that he could actually be overturned, the judge could be. So he might, even if he does sentence him to jail term, a prison term, he might let him out on bail pending appeal.
What about the fact that, and Michelle touched on this, there have been some gay rights supporters now who have been speaking out actually on Ravi's behalf saying, wait a minute, let's step back. You know, maybe he shouldn't be going to jail for 10 years.
Well, I think there has been a lot of that, and I think the judge will certainly take some of that into account, as he will all the letters that come in. But ultimately, I think the judge is going to take a look at this specific case and this specific defendant. A big issue is remorse. And of course, the state kind of jumped on that. And the state says he shows no remorse. And they actually pointed to an instant message that he sent right after he found that his that Tyler Clementi was missing and might even be a suicide. That did kind of show insensitivity. But then the defense says, yes, but before he even knew that his roommate had committed suicide, he had sent an apology too. What's really difficult about all this is there was so much digital evidence in this case. You know how hard it is to read an email, read what the intent is. You know, haven't you sent an email?
So are we looking at perhaps a new interpretation of the law because there was no violence here?
Well, that's what I think a lot of legal experts are very concerned. No matter what the judge does today with sentencing, I think just the jury verdict sent such a message to other prosecutors that not only can you bring charges for actions that are not what we normally think of as a hate crime, because this one contained no violence, no threat of violence, but the fact that the jury actually convicted him on all 15 counts. So, I mean, if you're a prosecutor, you're thinking, I think I can convince a jury. So
his lawyers are hoping for some kind of new trial?
Oh, they have asked for a new trial, and they've also asked in the alternative to overturn this conviction. I don't expect the judge to make that decision today, but the judge has not ruled on that, and you know that that's pretty rare for a judge to say, you know, I'm throwing it out. But of course, you know, we don't know what's going to happen.
This is a brand new ball game. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because I heard even he believes he should get some jail time, or he's going to get it. So we'll see. We'll know today. Thank you, Erin Moriarty.